Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. In this video, I'm going to show you how to make this mosaic tile frame, which says Allah in Kufic Arabic script. This frame was inspired by verse 28 of Surah Al-Ra'd, which says, "Surely by Allah's remembrance are the hearts set at rest." To make the mosaic tiles, I started with a scrap of watercolour paper. This one is A6 size, and I applied water to it with a paintbrush. I then started randomly adding different colour paint to the paper. You could do this using card with coloured pencils, crayons or markers. You could even use some printed paper or card if you have it, and skip this step altogether. Kufic script is known for its straight lines, and was the first style used in Islamic writing, meaning that the first written Quran would have been written in Kufic script. The type of Kufic script I'm using here is known as square Kufic. I covered the page with paint, and when it was totally dry, I drew vertical lines 1/2 inch apart. I used a black drawing pen to draw in the lines, but you could use a pencil instead. I have the measurements on my craft mat, and so just lined up my ruler with those. You could mark up the measurements on the paper first, and then draw in the lines. I want square mosaic tiles for my design, and so I rotated the card by 90 degrees, and again drew in lines 1/2 inch apart. Using scissors, I cut along the lines to create long strips, and I attached double-sided tape to the back of each strip, making sure I pressed firmly so that the tape was attached well. I cut off the excess double-sided tape and then cut out the squares, so each one had some double-sided tape on the back. You'll need 31 mosaic tiles for this design altogether. The name of Allah is so holy that we shouldn't touch it without being in wudu. So, as I was making a mosaic of the name of Allah, I made sure I was in wudu before starting this next step. I took an 11 cm square of black card to attach my tiles to. I stuck on the first tile and then used a ruler to align the others. I stuck on 5 tiles, then used a tile which I didn't remove the backing tape from, just as a spacing guide, as I needed a gap there. I then stuck down the next tile, and once I'd done that, I removed the tile I had used as a spacing guide. I kept sticking on the tiles, as you can see, using a tile with the backing tape still attached as a spacing guide when I needed one. I tried to vary the tiles so that the different colours were randomly placed. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is the one who creates and looks after everything. Allah is the one who makes sure that we have everything we need. He is the one who knows us better than we know ourselves. And He is the one who loves us more than anyone. Allah is the source of ultimate peace, and so when we remember Him, our hearts are comforted and we feel peace and gratitude at the thought of all of His blessings and rewards. And when we keep remembering Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, it will stop us from doing anything that would displease Him. I realized the black card was slightly too big, so I drew in some lines using a ruler and cut the edges off. Then I attached a piece of ribbon with sellotape. This piece of ribbon was 15 centimeters long. I took a piece of printed paper, trimmed it to the size I wanted, which ended up being around 11 centimeters squared, and gave me a border of 1 centimeter all the way around the black card. I used strips of double-sided tape to stick my mosaic design to the printed paper, so that the ribbon ends and the sellotape were all hidden. Then, using a black drawing pen with a 0.2 size nib, I started drawing designs on the tiles. You could draw any design you'd like to decorate the tiles, or even leave them blank if you want. I drew in lines, circles, stars, zigzags, and dashes. I then stuck on some adhesive gems to some of the tiles. You could use any embellishments you have, like stickers or even glitter. Finally, taking a silver sharpie metallic marker, I outlined the design. Any metallic or coloured marker is fine here, just to make sure that the colour shows up on the card. I drew around the whole design using the marker, including the hole within the hair of Allah. And here we have our completed Kufic calligraphy frame with the name Allah. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala help us to remember Him at all times, so that our hearts are filled with peace and gratitude. Ameen. Walhamdulillahi Rabbil Alameen.